I wanted to learn the skills that I could augment with the existing UPSC knowledge that I had, and then I could transition. I felt that maybe the way is different, but the end goal is the same. I'll be able to reach there. It's not just necessarily UPSC, whether it's political consulting, whether it's public policy. But then I still had few apprehensions. So the white paper, again, it was an amazing experience. Like I could have never thought how I can apply my existing UPSC knowledge and the skills that I gained from the Rebounce master classes and write that kind of a white paper. There is a saturation point where like every aspirant reaches if they're not getting the outcome. So for me, it was after 2 attempts. For somebody, it can be after 5 attempts also. But if you feel that you have reached that sort of tipping point, where this particular exam is affecting your mental health, no exam, like whether it's UPSC or any other exam, is just worth your mental health. If you reach that point, then I think one should start considering a transition. And as I mentioned earlier also, the end goal is the same, is to work for the society in the field of the governance.
Hello, Aditi. Thank you so much for your time. Many congratulations for clearing the Mukherjee Fellowship, the prestigious Mukherjee Fellowship.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks to the entire team.
Great, Aditi. As part of this conversation, we would like to know more about your journey. We would like to know, maybe starting your college days to UPSC to, Rebounce, and finally landing up to Mukherjee Fellowship. I'm sure there are lots and lots of learnings for people who would be going through this conversation, later. So maybe Aditi, just talk a little bit about yourselves. Give us a good background in terms of where do you come from, what is your academic qualifications, and how did you get into UPSC prep?
Okay, sir. So I come from Bhilai, Chhattisgarh. So I've done my entire schooling and my graduation as well from Bhilai itself. Like during my school days, I had this inclination towards social science. I know UPSC is just a different ball game altogether, but I had this inclination towards subject of social sciences like history, geography, political science, and economics. But then I come from a place where like very few schools offer like humanity in 11th and 12th standard. So I had this one option of venturing into engineering. Then I also started my graduation from here only. I'm an electronics and telecommunication engineer. I've done my engineering from the IT Durg. So during my engineering days, I realized that still I'm more inclined towards the social sector, the social impact sector, and not towards engineering. So that's why I did not even prepare my resume. I did not even sit for my placement during the college days. I came to know about UPSC, and then I started reading about the syllabus, the newspaper, how
you started in the college times only.
Yes, sir. I was, again, not very sure. So like I wanted to do the bare minimum things like reading newspaper and all, whether I can do it or not, I can continue with this or not. So I felt like I'm enjoying the process. I'm liking this. So like in 2023, I completed my graduation. Then after that 2 years, I did not take any formal coaching or anything. I did the preparation all by myself. So like after 2023 to 2025, I gave 2 attempts at UPSC. I could not even clear the prelims for both the stages. So in 2025, like after I could not clear my second attempt for prelim, I sort of felt that I reached a saturation point. And then I sort of introspected. Like, is this something I like really want to continue despite of reaching the saturation point? And if I'm given some other avenue to work with the government in the social impact sector, like if I want to transition or not. And then, sir, from there, I came to know about Rebounce and I started my journey.
Great. So what was the thought process like, Aditi, when let's say 2 pre happened, you couldn't qualify? So what made you think that, okay, I really need to move out now, UPSC is not working out, and maybe explore other avenues? And what made you think that, okay, maybe public policy, political consulting is something which can potentially work out for me?
So like after the 2025 prelims, when I could not clear the prelims, like I had to look forward. So like there were many people around me who were saying that UPSC is the umbrella exam. If you're prepared for it, you can give other government exam. But I had this thought that other government exam should not be the backup for one government exam. Like people were suggesting me to give banking exam, the state PCS, but I always felt that I'll have to do additional hard work and read a lot apart from what I've read for UPSC to clear all this. I wanted to learn the skills that I could augment with the existing UPSC knowledge that I had, and then I could transition. Sir, then I came to know about like Rebounce. I visited the website. I went to the profile of your profile, the profile of Jikyasu sir, and I felt that Rebounce was suitable for me because we are applying here our existing UPSC knowledge. We are learning new skills that is helping us for transitioning rather than like just taking a different route altogether. So that's
okay. So Aditi, what was it, when you came, like when you came to know about us? I guess it might be last year, right? Sometime in maybe May or June, right?
Yes, sir. May or June. Yeah. May, June 2025.
What were some of the things which made you think that, okay, this is what maybe I need, or this is what I might be needing to maybe, come out of UPSC and get into maybe public policy, political consulting? Basically, क्या आपको लगा after going through us, our profiles, our website, which sort of clicked with you that, okay, this is it. Let me enroll in the program and let me see how things work out.
Sir, as I said, like my interest lied in like working in the social impact sector, working with the or for the government. So like my end goal was that. Now I feel that there are many ways to reach that end goal. Earlier, like I felt that UPSC is the only way maybe, but when I came to know about the other candidate who, with the help of Rebounce, sort of transition, I went to their profiles, I listened to their story. I felt that maybe the way is different, but the end goal is the same. I'll be able to reach there. It's not just necessarily UPSC, whether it's political consulting, whether it's public policy. But then I still had few apprehensions. Like the profiles that I visited were from IIMs and IITs. I come from a tier 2 college. I don't have any sort of job experience. I don't have background in humanities. I'm an engineer. But I still consider that as signal of universe, because when I was going through all these apprehensions, actually one of my seniors from my college only, who she had like 5-year UPSC gap, she also transitioned with the help of Rebounce only as a young professional. Then I felt, if I work hard and if I apply my skills correctly, I can also transition. Then I joined Rebounce.
Great. So that was the final push which you needed to sort of maybe,
yes,
put in your trust in us. Great. So what happens after that? So Aditi, you come out of UPSC and immediately you sort of, enroll with us, and you were enrolled in public policy, political consulting program with us, right? So what happens after that? How was your journey? What were some of the things which you felt were really working for you? And, how was the entire journey after that?
Sir, honestly, I was not aware about these domains of public policy and political consulting. So, when I joined Rebounce, I was not having much idea how to go about things. But then, all thanks to the curriculum, it's wonderful. So the first 2 months were mostly master classes for both public policy and political consulting. So the master classes were meticulous. They are designed excellently. Like in those 2 months, I got the idea, okay, what is this? And then for the next 2 months was the white paper. I am from the group White Noise. Yes, sir. So the white paper, again, it was an amazing experience. Like I could have never thought how I can apply my existing UPSC knowledge and the skills that I gained from the Rebounce master classes and write that kind of a white paper. So for the first 4 months, honestly, I was not running behind, like I need to get a job, I need to get placed as soon as possible. I felt that first 4 months I'll learn and apply my skills. It was after, like from October only, that I rigorously started applying for jobs and roles. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So while you were sort of going through the coursework and white paper, you said that you were not actively looking for roles. You were just focusing on learning things primarily. Okay, great. Yeah. A lot of people do that, and absolutely there is no problem. There is no sort of, issues with that. You focus on your learnings, and only when you're confident about it, you can present yourself confidently out in the market. Cool. So we started in July, Aditi, and I guess 4 months sort of ended in November, right? July,
Yes,
September, October, November, right?
November.
Yeah. So what happens after that? Were you then started looking for roles in the market, or what was the thought process, and how did you go about the entire journey?
Yes, sir. After that, as a part of the market readiness program, I started looking for roles. My resume was not at all in a good shape. So I had a session with Jigyasu sir. He really turned around how my resume looked. There were a lot of unnecessary things. There were issues with the font. UPSC preparation, I did devote 2 years. That was also not sort of benefiting me. I could have extracted a lot from it. So Jigyasu sir really guided me. I got to know how to present my whatever I've read in UPSC in my resume, so that it can be fruitful for me. So first thing was, sir, I got my resume in shape, and then I started applying for roles. Um, as Sir Jigyasu sir always used to say, you also said that apply, 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 don't wait for reply. So along with my friends, Gia also shared, we had a tracker thing with Gia, I and Gautami. We would look for the jobs from various sites like LinkedIn and all, and then apply. So we started that process. And then, so it was in December 2025 through Rebounce collaboration only with one of the great political organizations of our country that I got placed. But then I had the issue with location, so I could not take up that role.
Sure.
But then after that, I sort of streamlined that. Okay, if my preference is like New Delhi based roles, I started looking for those roles, and then came the Lamb Fellowship and the Mukherjee Fellowship. And so then I went into the process of Mukherjee Fellowship, and I could clear that.
Great. Sounds good. Of course, there are people-specific preferences, people-specific challenges because of which certain roles work out and other roles do not. I think the most important part is to be absolutely clear and not confused about कि आपको कहाँ apply करना है, कहाँ नहीं करना, कौन से locations वाले role के लिए apply करना है, कौन से locations वाले के लिए नहीं करना है. Which is a good thing, right? You should always be clear about your preferences, and it's okay to have preferences, right? Many people have their own preferences, their own constraints, so to say. Cool. All right, Aditi, that sounds good. So that particular role happened, but it couldn't. You couldn't join it because of various reasons. So let's get into Mukherjee Fellowship and let's talk about that process from start to end. So how did you come to know about Mukherjee Fellowship? Or is it like already known that there is something called as Mukherjee Fellowship, हर साल होता है, इस type of form आता है, and then you apply? How was it?
Sir, when I joined Rebounce, I feel like the cohort, I don't know, if he's from my cohort or the previous cohort. Like one candidate from Rebounce, he also cracked the Mukherjee Fellowship. So that was the first time I heard about Mukherjee Fellowship. And when the applications were open, a few months ago, I remember Rebounce sharing that in their community. And also there were many master classes that Rebounce did conduct for the guidance. So from there only, so through Rebounce only, it was I got to know about Mukherjee Fellowship, what it is.
Great. So, okay. So, we also, came out with notification and other things when the Mukherjee Fellowship came out. So, okay. So what happens after that?
Sir, there are 4 stages of the fellowship. The first stage, as far as I'm able to recall, asks about there's a Google form sort of thing about the basic details, and we need to give out our resume for that. So again, sir, my resume was not in a good shape. I would have faltered in the first step only if I would have not received the guidance from the Rebounce related to my resume. So I tailored my resume accordingly. I remember there was one session or a masterclass sort of thing also there, how to frame a resume for the Mukherjee Fellowship as well. So that helped me a lot, and then I could clear that. Then there was this second stage. Again, one question, there was this online short essay sort of written test. There were 5 questions. One was SOP, 2 questions were from a state, and 2 were the national level questions. So again, for the SOP, sir, I remember you saying it again during the master classes as well and other session as well, that your SOP should look like a very good story, a story that you can sell. So I made sure that I should write my resume, my SOP in the form of a story. a story in a flow.
Yeah.
So that really helped me a lot in writing a good resume. And then apart from that, since we read a lot about UPSC, I was in touch with the current affairs. I could tackle the other 4 questions. So also I could just attempt 4 questions out of those 5 questions. I could not even complete the test. So I could not attempt 1 question, but still I got through the online written test process. And then came the 3rd stage. It was an online interview of around 25 to 30 minutes. Like it was a very comprehensive interview again, revolving around policy, politics, my home state, my background, and my motivation to join the fellowship. And then after clearing that, I had a final in-person interview. I think they conducted this interview around 17 to 18 locations across India. I had my interview in Nagpur on 7th of March. Yeah, yes, sir. So that interview went for 1 hour, 20 minutes, something. So yes, sir, like it was a very comprehensive interview, a long one. And by God's grace, I could qualify that.
Great. I was talking to this other person, and she told me that the interview went on for 2 hours to 20 minutes. So that's a pretty rigorous process. And it's also a good thing, right? You're giving sufficient times to people to sort of assess them, judge them on all aspects. And that's what I always keep saying. Mukherjee Fellowship is unique in the sense that it is, it sort of works at the intersection of policy, politics, and governance. It is not just about politics, it is things beyond politics as well. Cool. Sounds good, Aditi. So in this entire process of multiple rounds of Mukherjee Fellowship, from the written test and the SOP you talked about to an online interview to an in-person interview, anything in this entire journey of Mukherjee Fellowship after the SOP, the online interview and the in-person interview, where you really felt some of the things which you learned maybe as part of Rebounce really stood with you?
Yes, sir, definitely. Like the master classes and the sessions that were specially curated for Mukherjee Fellowship were immensely helpful. Like without that, I don't think I could have gotten a structure or how to answer the questions. For example, I always felt that it is a national level fellowship. I felt that, okay, they would be asking me about my state, but I don't think I would have covered my state in that much of a depth, which was required for the fellowship if I would have not attended the sessions. The guests who were invited by the Rebounce, they emphasized a lot that please read about your state and your constituency. So I realized that my preparation for the state level is not up to the mark. Because of UPSC, whatever is happening at the central level, all that, I was confident about that. But for the state, I did put a lot of effort because of the session that I attended. And then, sir, also since like Mukherjee Fellowship, the fellows, they work for a certain set of people. So like when we prepare for UPSC, we have this mindset of neutrality, always having this taking the middle path, Gautam Buddha's Madhyam Marg and all. So but the session that I attended, I realized that this is not going to work over here. Like I need to have my opinion. And in my real interview also, like before my actual interview started, the interviewer, she asked me that don't be neutral. We can see in your resume that you're prepared for UPSC. We want your opinion. We want to know that who you are actually. So like if I would have not attended the session, I would have gone with that neutral perspective only. And I don't think that would have worked over there. And sir, but then at the same time, while giving opinion also, I think that it's very important to know where to draw the line. For example, like when I was attending the session, like one of the guest who was helping us, he said that you need to have an opinion, but please do not sound like some booth level political party karyakarta. That is not going to work. Like they are hiring consultants, they are looking for researchers. You have to answer like that. So in my interview, I made sure that, okay, I'm having my opinion, but that has to be backed by data, examples. And if I'm giving some solution, like if it's being implemented in any other country, how can we implement that in India? So like all these things, strategy that I could made was just possible because I attended the sessions or the master classes that Rebounce conducted.
Great, Aditi. Sounds good. Super exciting outcome, I would say. Now for people who are still in that board, which you were maybe 3 months, 4 months, 5 months back, who are still in the dilemma of whether to go for another attempt or look for options outside, and for people who are looking for options outside, but still not clear or confident whether it should be public policy, political consulting, or it should be something else, what would be your, advice, your inputs to that?
Yes, sir. Like that inflection point where you think of like whether I should continue or transition is very confusing. I've been there. So like from if I say for myself, like I felt that there is a tipping point. There is a saturation point where like every aspirant reaches if they are not getting the outcome. So for me, it was after 2 attempts. For somebody, it can be after 5 attempts also. But if you feel that you have reached that sort of tipping point, where this particular exam is affecting your mental health, no exam like whether it's UPSC or any other exam is just worth your mental health. If you reach that point, then I think one should start considering a transition. And as I mentioned earlier also, the end goal is the same, is to work for the society in the field of the governance. Like if you're very rigid that I only want to do UPSC and get into the civil services, then like I was not very rigid. I was okay with following other path also, the path of public policy or political consulting, but I wanted to reach that end goal. So if somebody is not that rigid, they can follow the other path to reach the same end goal. I think they should definitely give the other domains also a chance, like public policy.
Just one more thing here, Aditi. I think in general, if I talk about the mindset of people who are preparing for UPSC, it is a big decision for them after spending 2 to 3 or maybe, like you said, 5 years to come out of this mindset and start exploring for roles, right? And I always say that it is big, but it is also a brave decision, right? For example, you said when you wanted to move out, you didn't know a lot about public policy, political consulting, and rest of the stuff, right? Over a period of time, you sort of had conviction, trusted yourselves, and then things started working out, right? So it is a big decision, but it is also a brave decision.
Yeah.
So what are those factors which made you take this brave decision, Aditi?
Sir, like as I also said, the exam, like after my second failure, like for the first attempt, I have not seen the answer key of this year. After my first attempt, like there were like around 4 to 5 questions where there was some issues with the answer key. Like there are words written in the constitution, but according to the answer key, the word was different. Like according to me, I attempted the question correctly, but then and like I missed the cutoff margin by like very few marks. So I sort of really felt demotivated. I did put in a lot of hard work. According to me, the answer is also correct, but still, like things are very uncertain. I really did not want to risk my entire 20s just for preparing for one exam. Like if I can reach my end goal with other ways, like I felt like giving that a chance. So like entering into the UPSC preparation is also a very, very brave decision, and leaving it also is a very brave one, as you mentioned, sir. So like I did go, as I said, that I did visit Rebounce's profile. I did my own research on YouTube, like public policy about political consulting. I felt that these are excellent opportunities, like where I can apply my existing UPSC knowledge and work in the field of the governance. So sir, I was like very happy. I was not very rigid that it has to be only UPSC, otherwise I would not just do anything else. I was not that rigid with my approach.
Got it. And what about, even if you didn't know a lot about these two areas, but was it only about your, school time or college time interest in the social sector and your UPSC journey, which made you, explore these two areas despite not knowing a lot about it? Or was it, some other factors which sort of pushed you into these two areas?
Sir, like during my UPSC preparation, like I got to, I feel that I became a better citizen. So like mostly the domains where my friends are working, so like in the software field, or like few of them are going for MBAs or MTech, I never felt inclination towards all those fields. Like I always wanted to do something meaningful. So apart from UPSC, like I felt that public policy and political consulting will help me in doing something meaningful. So that was a very big factor in transitioning.
Got it. I think more or less in my experience as well, Aditi, it is the same. People want to do something meaningful, something useful in their life, in their careers. UPSC has similar goals, similar objectives, and you are not able to achieve it. Maybe these two areas are areas where you, to some extent, are able to do it. Of course, it's not one-to-one replacement, but it allows you, if you're good, to do
Yeah,
a lot of good things.
Yeah.
Cool, Aditi. Great talking with you. Thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts, all your insights, and all the very best for Mukherjee Fellowship. I hope it turns out well for you, and you have an absolutely brilliant career working at the intersection of policy, politics, and governance.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Really grateful.